What's up, everyone? I'm Jasmine Harper,
Ugh. What's up, everybody? I'm Kyrah
and we're your host
of the VoiceBox.
The VoiceBox is an original WNCU podcast
that serves as an outlet for community members like you to connect with local businesses, entrepreneurs, and resource centers.
We're here to inspire, share stories, and uplift voices.
Welcome to the VoiceBox.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the VoiceBox. I'm Jasmine Harper, and this is episode 4. We are here interviewing Durham CARES Mentoring Movement, and I'm here with
Kyrah Taylor.
And I'm Velez, Childress, the Executive Director of Durham CARES Mentoring Movement.
Awesome. Thank you all for coming onto the show. Really loved having you all. So first question. Can you share the story of how Durham CARES Mentoring Movement began?
Well, it actually began during Hurricane Katrina, and our CEO was at that time worked as the editor-in-chief of Essence magazine, and she was in the New Orleans area. And she said, we need so much help. And she was looking for, where's the Black community coming down to help? And she created Essence Cares. And then when she retired from Essence magazine, she wanted to continue to do work in the Black community and especially in mentoring. So she started the National CARES Mentoring Movement.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing. I love that story and that journey is how you are now here with Durham CARES. So, Ms. Childress, you serve as the executive director for this program, and Kyrah, you serve as the co-affiliate leader. You have so many roles. Co-affiliate leader, site coordinator, facilitator, and a mentor for Durham CARES. Talk about your roles and what that entails.
Okay, so being an affiliate leader, I feel like that just helps me and Ms. Childress communicate. Like, we just kind of talk about our plans for the year, what we want to do at the different schools that we're at, how we need to recruit people. It's like the background work that people don't normally see. As far as the actual site leader, that is sending out emails to the mentors that we have recruited that were interested, telling them how they can register their volunteer hours on the Get Connected portal on NCCU's website. Also kind of training them to be a mentor, telling them like, hey, this is what you should say. This is something that you shouldn't say. This is how you can have fun with them. This is how you can't have fun with them. Just that kind of thing. And then being an actual mentor is literally just executing the lesson plans that is in the National CARES Handbook, guiding the conversations and just giving advice, creating relationships, and
And so for me, because I'm older, I really rely on Kyrah to do more of the face-to-face work and help train the new mentors and work with the mentees. And I have been able to then pull back from doing those kind of jobs to doing the grant writing, working with our board of directors, making sure that we have ample people on our board, and building partnerships in the community and things like that.
Awesome. So, just a side question, Kyrah, you had mentioned that students can do, like NCCU students. Now, is it only NCCU students that you all recruit as mentors, or are there other students from different universities?
yeah, we've had some people that don't necessarily go to Central that were interested in being mentors, which is fine. I mean, it's technically like Durham CARES, so anyone who is in the Durham area and who is able to do it can be a mentor. But I think we try to hone in on Central the most because it's like college students, they need volunteer hours. It's something cool to get into. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something to look forward to. I mean, as a graduate, like you are looking for those hours. So like, I definitely think that this is a great opportunity for them. So let's talk about your journeys to Durham CARES. What drew you into mentoring and community leadership, especially with the programs such as Durham CARES?
Well, for me, I really saw the need in the Durham Public Schools and in our community to have mentors that can reach the students and give them options. We're all about giving students experiences that they may not be able to get on their own. For example, we had some students that were interested in design. and we were able to bring in via Zoom a designer that designed for Athletica, Old Navy, and to really talk with them. And she was a young woman, in her early 30s, that could really talk with them about the work she was doing. We had some students that were interested in talking about cosmetology, and we had a young 25-year-old business owner out of New York that owns now 2 salons, that she was able to give them practical experience about what's going on. And so I think really being able to introduce young people to people that can help them, that they can ask very specific questions of. We even had the coach Oliver at North Carolina Central invite us to bring students over to the campus, and even the young ladies were so surprised that a young woman created the ring. She designed the ring when they won the MEAC, and that was her job. And there were women that worked in the athletic department that all got rings when the players got rings because they were a part of the team. And so that was important for our young people to understand that being a part of the team means everybody benefits. And so that's what we're really about, is giving young people experiences that they may not be able to get in their own communities.
Yes, definitely. And that's some dedication, like just inviting, like just making sure that everyone is getting like the same treatment in like their specific fields of what they're interested in. So yeah, that's really amazing that y'all do that. What about you? What's your journey?
I was a central student who needed community service hours, so I went to the community service and engagement office, and I spoke to Miss Kathleen Herbert, I believe her name is. She was great. She told me how to look for community service hours, how to sign up, and everything. So I signed up. I saw the picture on the website of Miss Childress with the football team, I think, at the high school. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really have the best high school experience, but like that's why I wanted to do it, if that makes sense. So I decided to sign up. I met with Miss Childress for the first meeting, and it was just me and her. And she was like, so what do y'all want to do after high school? And they were just looking around, and they were just sitting there twiddling their thumbs. And so after it was over, I was like, Miss Childress, I don't think we should start there. I don't think that most of them know what they want to do after college yet. So maybe let's try to like help them navigate high school. Let's help them navigate their emotions. Let's help them navigate their friendships. And then once we started doing that, there was more work to be done. We needed more people. We had to, have conversations. And I kind of just got into it. And yeah, I plan to do it after I graduate as well. So yeah.
So I mean, and then you could like put yourself in like their shoes, especially like kind of being more closer to their age, So
which is like a good and a bad thing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still like impactful in that way. So you are keen on building rapport and positive foundations through mentorship, just like y'all just previously discussed. As a mentoring program for predominantly Black youth who are elementary, middle, and high school students, how have you all navigated and cultivated trust and connections with your mentees?
Okay, I guess I can start with that. So one thing that I found is like really important when going to even speak to middle schoolers and high schoolers is that you kind of have to know how to joke with them. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like that'll build trust if they know that, like, if they roast you, as they call it, which is basically just calling you names for fun. Yeah. If they know that they can do that to you and you can do it back and kind of like win a little bit, then like boom, they already rock with you just off of that. Or even with high schoolers, like yes, they're always expected to do work and like pay attention in school, but if you can like give them time to kind of just be themselves or like talk or just let loose, that also builds trust because they're like, okay, I know that they're not just here to talk at me and tell me what to do. Like they also care about who I am as a person and what I have to say. So I would say like joking with them, listening to them, and just kind of allowing them to be themselves, like will give, like that'll build the relationship of trust.
Yeah, for sure, creating a safe space.
Basically, yeah.
So, would you like to add anything to
Well,
that?
I'll add to that. A part of what we do is also create family. Yeah. And in the African American community, coming around the table and having a meal is something that our community likes to do. And so we always start our session, because we do it first period, with having some breakfast with them. It gets them to come in, those that are new, they're like, why am I here? And we're like, are you hungry? Why don't you have a biscuit and have a seat? So it's a way to break the ice, get them to come in. and truthfully, some come because they want the breakfast,
Right.
but they stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has been a great hook for us, is to be able to provide that kind of family atmosphere to get them started, and then they feel more comfortable to open up and talk about what's really going on in their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important because I feel like sometimes students may not even have that sort of connection with their own families. So having that space to do that with Durham CARES, I mean, that's definitely something that they have been looking for, possibly. But that definitely leads me to my next question. What challenges do you find that the youth here in Durham are facing, and what ways has the mentoring movement stepped in to help them overcome those obstacles?
Okay, so I would say some challenges that I see are also challenges that we're still working through.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say is, I know Ms. Childress was talking about like building families basically, and something that they may not get at home. The communication, definitely, I would say in this generation of children has definitely kind of gone down a little bit. It's like, phones are a big thing. So kids always being on their phone and not really having like certain life skills or just certain communication skills, like look at someone when they're speaking to you, or like nod your head when you understand what they're saying, or even having the confidence to like ask questions and just be wrong, like, because phones are there to like get the answer quick. When it comes to like thinking with your own brain and doing it that way, it's intimidating to some kids, and it kind of can like, what's the word, like make them not want to do it as much, basically. That's one. Communication. I want to say another thing is also like relationships. I feel like in high school it's always hard to like build and keep relationships, but even like the way they talk about each other, not like they talk to each other bad, but like, let's say someone does something they don't like, it's like, oh, I don't need them, like I'm cutting them off, like just not being in touch with their emotions at all. Which I think is one that we're working on the most right now, like being in touch with your emotions. I had this one kid, he was like, he doesn't care about anything, he doesn't care about nothing. I said, okay, like if you had $1 and somebody like took it from you, what would you do? He's like, I'm gonna go get him, I'm gonna beat him up. And I'm like, oh, but you said you don't care, so you don't get to beat them up, you need to let them keep the $1 because you don't care. He was like, okay, I do care about it. And I'm like, exactly. So y'all gotta stop acting like y'all don't care about nothing, because y'all do. So getting them to understand what their emotions are, how to deal with them, I feel like will also help with their relationships and their friendships. Like you can't cut someone off just because they did something you don't like. They probably didn't know that you didn't like it. They probably aren't worried about you. They may have something going on at home. You just never know. So also just trying to like open up their communication. And also just focus, like being on your phone, getting that quick dopamine from videos, it's really hard to get their attention and keep it. So that's another thing. I don't think we have a lot of problems with kids being on their phone. Like if we're really getting into like a good session and people are talking, they're not going to be on their phones. But if it's like a breakfast time, or it's almost the end, or, they are distracted, they're going to be on their phones. Other than that, we're working on about like 2 out of the 4 things. So
yeah, but I mean, I do think that maybe COVID also like has an effect on like communication and even like being like social. So I think just being in those environments where you're around kids, where you're around other people, can definitely just have them grow in that way. What would you like to add?
I would add to that a lot of our students that we have don't have other extracurricular activities. And so we're always encouraging those that do to, we'll say, oh, well, we'll come out and support you. We'll come to the game, and then the others hear it. And then, oh, well, maybe they'll show up to the game to see what's going on. We had one young lady that was in dance. She was fabulous. And we went. And had a chance to watch her perform, and took her flowers, and she was so excited that she got flowers. She showed them off to all her friends, because some of the parents that did come did that, brought them flowers, and so we can step in and do those kind of things. And then it also shows them that, we're all about what we say to them, is that we're here to support you, to cheer you on, and so we try to come to some of those activities as well.
Yeah, definitely. The support system is definitely needed, and just will have them go like a long way with that. So you all have group mentoring sessions, such as the restorative justice circles and the wellness mentoring circles. Talk about these sessions and what do they look like?
Okay, so our group mentoring sessions basically they come in after breakfast. We can tell them to get in a circle. Sometimes, okay, I'll do like different. Middle school, it's easier to get them in a circle because it's less students. High school, it's sometimes like 30 something kids, so it's kind of hard to get all of those desks in a circle.
Yeah.
For the middle schoolers, typically we'll start off with the topic like, let's say we introduce the word stress. We'll be like, okay, like what do you guys think this word means, or like what does it mean to you? And then I'll be like, do you guys ever get stressed out? And they're like, no, I just go home and I just play my game, da da da. And so then, like, if I feel like there may be other stressors in their life that they may not be identifying as stress, I'll be like, oh, okay, well, have you ever been like not ready to go home or something like that? Or have you ever had an assignment that you like procrastinated on and like you didn't want to do? And they'll say, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a stressor. Like that means that you were like stressed about something, so you didn't do it, or you were stressed about something and it gave you an unwanted feeling. And so then once they identify other times they have been stressed, I'm like, okay, well, like, how do you guys think you can make stress better? Let them hear. Sometimes they'll be like, I don't know. And I'm just like, okay. And then I'll tell them these are ways that you can like combat stress, and then just kind of go from there. Just have like an open discussion. And yeah, that's what the middle schoolers. With the high schoolers, it's kind of like the same thing. Mm-hmm. They may have more to say, or they may not feel comfortable saying it in front of everyone. So we do split the group mentor session into smaller group mentor sessions so everyone can feel comfortable, and we kind of just go about the same process. So I feel like it's like a both of those in one. Like you talk about what's going on, you help them with how to like restore like skills they didn't have already, and then you kind of go from there.
Have you seen like any progress like over the years, or just over the sessions with the students?
Yeah, I can say specifically, I want to say it was like last year. You know, the years are weird with school because like you start at the end and then you're in the beginning. Yeah. But like I want to say it was probably like last year, beginning of the year, we had some students. They were considered more troubled students. There were two girls and they got into fights a lot. When they first came, all they did was like disrupt the circle, like called out the boys, be like, oh, you stink, oh, you look like this. And now the boys are riled up, and like there was just like, and they came in the middle of the year. So there was just no like, I don't want to say respect, but kind of, there was like no respect for like keeping the circles how they were. So over time, we had like a session and I broke the boys and the girls up, and I spoke to the girls who were always loud and causing issues. And it was basically just like, who are you? Like, if this happened, like if you saw a homeless person on the street, what would you do? If one of your friends were in need, what would you do? And I asked them all these questions about their character. And then I said, okay, who do you think you are after you answered these questions? And one of the girls was like, one of the troubled girls, she was like, I think I'm a really nice person, but people just always think I'm mean and that I just want to fight and like all these other things. And I was like, well, are you showing them that? Like, is everything that you're showing people that you're mean and that you want to fight? I'm like, if you want people to think differently of you, you have to show them different. If you're just showing them the aggressive, mean side, they're not going to know that you're nice and you're funny. And after that, she actually did turn into a nice and funny person. Like, I mean, she wasn't super aggressive anymore. I'm pretty sure like outside of session she was, but like she was super cool during session. She listened. She was very protective over me after that. Mm-hmm. So she just became really cool. And that's like one of my favorite stories because it just shows that if you really just talk to kids, like it really can change their lives. So
yeah, they can open up. That's like, sounds like a form of shadow work as well. Like the way that you talk to them. Ms. Childress,
yeah, I think one of my favorite examples is that actually Kyrah led this session on flipping the switch. On usually you roast people and you can say all kinds of negative things. And she said, well, let's roast people, but say something positive that you know about them. And they really struggled with that. But after about 2 rounds, one of them really clicked in and she said, I could do this whole room. And we're like, okay, do it. And she actually went around the room and said something really great about each person. And then everybody was kind of stunned, like, oh, I guess I can say something nice. Mm-hmm. You always have to roast people in a negative way. And they had kind of all left in a much cheerier attitude when they left the room that day.
Yeah, they poked fun at her, but like, that's in high school, like, it's mushy to say like, oh, I like your hair. You'll be like, oh, you did your hair today? Oh, okay. Like that's how they talk to each other. But like I also have to tell them it's important to like switch it up sometimes. Like you don't always have to be like roasting someone or like shading your compliment. Like sometimes you really can just say like, I like your hair and just let it be that. You don't have to make it mushy. You can just say it and just move on. So I think that was a good one too.
it's definitely being authentic with yourself, and I mean they're discovering that, like that's understandable. So they're having to like wear this mask, so that other people, like you said, won't poke fun at them or anything like that. But I feel like once they get older, they're like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care what other people
older.
think,
Yeah.
And they've built a little bit of community. We've had a couple come in that this is our actually 4th year at Jordan High School.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a group that started as freshmen that are graduating this year.
Oh, wow.
And one of them asked the principal last year, do we get something special when we graduate? And so she said to me, I'll have to check. Maybe we can do something special. And I said, well, can we give them a rope? And at the end of last year, she got clearance because, you can't just wear anything you want at graduation, that we could present them with a rope. And now that's something small, but they actually were very excited about it because for some of them, they may not get anything special. They may not be in the National Honor Society or on an athletic team where you get something. So this was something that is special for their personal accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is definitely an achievement, and just something that they should be proud of for themselves, just for completing the program, completing high school. I mean, such a tough year, so that's really nice that you all did that. So what has been the most rewarding part of your journey with Durham CARES, and what have you learned about others and about yourselves?
I'd say for me is the relationships that I've built with the young people. And you go there to mentor them, but you find that, they're excited about seeing you. When we came to kick off the new year, they were flooding in. Everybody was like, hey, glad to see you. So it's really building those relationships with the young people. And I think it has enriched my life by being able to do that. And then also for me, the students that have come from Central that want to give back to the community. You hear so many negative things about young people and being self-centered and not wanting to do this or that. And every student that I've had from Central has stepped up, wanted to do something positive in the community. They're eager to learn what's going on, so, Kyrah will send out information about what's coming up so that they can get prepared. And they come ready to do that. And some of them are a little shy when they start, but then they learn themselves, how mentoring these young students gives them a vision of what their life could be like.
Absolutely. Yeah, so very
I would say like the same thing. Like honestly, like that's the best part about mentoring, like the relationship that you're building. If you get anything else from mentoring, I would like to know because I mean that's the only thing that I can see you getting from it. Like especially my favorite, my little treasure has been like working with the middle schoolers. I didn't know what to expect going into middle school, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a rocky start. Like they were very energetic. They talked a lot. It's hard to get them to stop talking and focus and just a lot of things. And so like over the year that I worked with them, I was able to like get them to listen and get them to be interested in like now they, like she said, excited to see us. I see a lot of middle schoolers, more than high schoolers, out like when I'm just, out and about running errands and stuff. I'll see them at the store with their parents or something. I'm like, hi, like, how are you? It's nice to see you. Just stuff like that, like being able to see them and know like I have a relationship with this kid and I know like what they like to talk about, what makes them laugh, like what they like to eat. Like I actually know this child and it's nice to like have the relationship with them. Like one of our kids, his name is Ashton. He was with us at Shepherd Middle School and he's going to Jordan. So he was like, I'm going to be in the program. I want to be with you guys next year. So not only did we have him in middle school, but now we're going to have him all 4 years through high school. And he's excited about it. So like, that's a really good thing.
Yeah, I bet that's like an exciting thing for them, like as well, and just knowing that they like have mentorship and leadership like you all, so
and a sense of community and that transition from middle school to high school and feeling like okay, I already have some place to belong is a great thing.
Right, you have that support, whenever you're going through that tough time. So that's really what all they need, especially like you said, those transitions come. Okay, so how do you envision the future of Durham Cares, and what excites you about the future for mentorship in Durham? I feel like.
What excites me is just seeing students be able to make those transitions, to have someone that they can rely on, to actually, when we started and you asked them, what do you want to do? No one had an answer. And now they actually are beginning to have answers to that earlier and earlier.
Right.
And so, and that's what we want for them, to have a vision for their future, because we know that, with a vision, they can achieve it. And if no one ever asks them that question, what's your vision for your future? Then you don't have a vision.
Right.
And so that's the important thing for us. And that's what we hope to continue to do. This coming year, we're starting at elementary school, and we're going to do the same program, but do it through children's books. And so we'll read a small children's story. And so they get the reading comprehension, but a lot of the stories have kind of bigger concepts, friendship, dealing with problems. And so this is a good way to start them, even in the elementary school, and building those fundamentals that will carry them through life.
I hope to see us at almost every high school here. My vision for Durham Cares is okay, we get the mentors. There's me and maybe another facilitator. And we basically get the mentors. We do the training sessions. Let's say there's Jordan High School, Hillside, there's Northern and Southern. Those are the big four. I don't really know of any other. Oh, and there's DSA, but big four where we are definitely going to see the Black youth there. I would love for us to have at least 3 or 4 mentors at each site. And I would like them to run it the same way that we do every other week. And I, as the facilitator, or a little bit higher, would like to go to each school and kind of just check in every week just to make sure it's running quickly. Mm-hmm. I would like to hold grouply meetings every week with the specific site for that high school and talk about hey, anything, are you struggling with anything? Do we need to change the curriculum or just anything? I would just love to see that. Just Durham Cares be bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want that growth. And I think that's really beautiful for sure. And maybe some of the students who maybe have went on and graduated come back and mentor. I think that would be so interesting to see. The last questions. For the folks who are listening and are watching right now, they would love to join Durham CARES Mentoring Movement, but are unsure or feel like they are not ready to mentor. What advice would you give to them to help them get involved?
Okay, advice I would give to anyone who wants to join Durham Cares and is nervous, doesn't think that they would be a good mentor or anything. Honestly, you can't be scared forever. Some things you just have to do. So what our mentors do, the first couple of sessions, they actually just come and observe. So if you want to get started, you can go on my EOL, go to Get Connected, type in mentoring, and it's gonna be a button that says, I think group mentoring, photographer, something. And we click on it, Durham Cares logo is gonna pop up. You're gonna press register. That's how you register for it. And then it'll have the contact information and someone will reach out to you. That's number 1. Number 2, like I said, you can just come in and observe the first couple of sessions. If you like it, you can do it. If you don't like it, you can go about your life. We will give you tools on how to mentor, what to say and what not to say. But just like this interview was a conversation, that's exactly what you'll be doing with the students. You'll just be having regular conversations with them. You will not be telling them what to do. You will not be everybody sit down, everybody be quiet. You're not a teacher. You're a mentor. You're just there to help, talk them through life, have a good time, and leave. So yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the basics. And if you're not at Central and you want to mentor, you can Google Durham CARES Mentoring Movement. It takes you to our webpage, and there's a place on there where it says register to be a mentor or register to be a facilitator. But usually our facilitators are mentors that have been promoted, that have mentored for a while and are ready to step into that role and get the stamp of approval from Kyrah.
Yes.
But we will, as we expand, need facilitators at all the sites. And so we encourage anybody that that wants to give back to their community. This is a great way to begin doing that. And the students need it. They need every type of personality, because we have every type of personality of student.
Yeah.
And so that, folks that are a little more low key can deal with students that are a little more reserved, and they can see, hey, I can still make it in life if my personality is not like I'm the one in class always raising my hand. So we've got to give everybody a skill set that they can look at and say, oh, I can still make it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you all so much for coming on to the podcast. We really do appreciate you, and just the impact that you both are doing in the Durham community is just amazing. So I hope that you all continue and that Durham Cares just goes far.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all next time.